Hello, everyone. My name is Bob Warner, and welcome to the vlog from the Peace Pentagon Hub. The Peace Pentagon is a conference and training center for progressive programs and sacred activism. The Pentagon is located on the beautiful Oracle Institute campus in Independence, Virginia, along the New River. And our hub vlogs focus on what we call the sectors of society, where every day synergistic solutions are emerging to help us build a new world. Today, I'm doing a Peace Pentagon vlog for the communication and media sector. And with me is Karen Everett, who is a thought leader in this sector. Karen is one of the world's leading documentary story consultants, a pioneer in the emerging genre of transformational film, and a powerful voice in the movement of what is called conscious filmmaking. As a guiding force behind New Doc Editing LLC, she's advised hundreds of filmmakers. Her visionary leadership and deep understanding of narrative structure has helped many filmmakers to get their documentaries screened by Sundance and PBS and HBO and a number of other top documentary venues. Karen taught editing for 18 years at the #1 U.S. documentary program at University of California, Berkeley's Graduate School of Journalism. Karen, it is such a delight to be able to spend a few minutes with you today.
You too. Thanks for that great intro. You've done your research. That was really nice. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, let's dive right in. We only have a few minutes together, and I'm very excited to hear about your journey and about the current movie project that you've just completed and are now having distribution, as well as a broader question about your views about the role of documentary filmmaking. So let's just start with the beginning, and that is, tell us a little bit about your journey into documentary filmmaking.
Sure. I was a sort of a lost graduate student when I was about 27, and I was in journalism school at UC Berkeley and thinking I wanted to do print, but I wasn't very inspired. And then I saw this personal documentary about being Black and gay. It was called Tongues Untied. Wow. And I thought, that's what I want to do. I want to make those kinds of documentaries. So I made 5 documentaries for the LGBTQ, they keep adding initials, audience, and they played at over 150 film festivals. And the film that I just finished, which we'll talk about, American Visionary, the story of Barbara Marx Hubbard, that's my 6th documentary and the first in which I'm really reaching beyond that audience.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, fantastic. And I'm glad that more letters are being added, because that means there's more inclusivity in our society.
Yes, anybody can be Q, right?
That's correct. So many of us who are enjoying these vlogs through the Peace Pentagon Hub are admirers of Barbara Marx Hubbard. She's an amazing futurist, a visionary, and a conscious evolutionary. In fact, much of the work of the Peace Pentagon and the Oracle Institute have been and are inspired by her life's work. So what is it that attracted you? So you've had these others that were in sort of a limited sector of our society, and this is a very broad one. What is it that attracted you to create a documentary about her life and legacy?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I'll tell you the story. I was teaching at the time. I had taught probably 18 years. Teaching in a documentary program, and I was getting very jaded. This was 2012. I was so jaded and cynical by all the news that, the negative news that we were covering, and the documentaries themselves, although they were very well made, were, I don't know, they just kind of left me feeling depressed and empty. And so I went to this conference put on by GATE, the Global Alliance for Transformational Entertainment, and I saw Barbara speaking there. And it was the first time, and I guess I was, 52, 53 then, that I had heard a positive, optimistic vision for the future of humanity. Like her basic message that hit me was, the world can be a lot better than you think, and what's your role in creating that world? And I felt deep in my soul that I was to return to making documentaries and I was really moved to tears by her vision. It was so joyful, joyful tears. And then a little bit later, she came to speak at Unity Church in Marin, a little north of where I live in San Francisco. And I just, there was like this welcoming line, and I just sort of bravely walked up and said, "I'd like to make a documentary about you." And she said, "I've been waiting all my life for somebody to say that." So that's how we started. But I wanted to get her, the main message I wanted to get out was, the world isn't as bad as you think. There is a positive vision for humanity. And now there are all kinds of books about that coming out, like, Peter Diamandis, his book, Abundance, The Future's Better Than You Think, that came out, I think, in 2013. And now, do you know Abundance Now by Steven Pinker, a Harvard professor? He wrote the Better Angels of Our Nature, about how there's not as much violence as we think. Mm-hmm. And his new book is all about basically Barbara's message that we're on this evolutionary track, and things are much better than they ever used to be. And we're at this tipping point where they can accelerate very quickly, or we could devolve. So anyway, that's the message I wanted to get out.
Thank you. Well, many of us, it was a turning point in 2012, and it was a turning point to meet Barbara, as it was for my wife, Noelle, and I. And we've now screened the movie about a half a dozen times and really have a strong feeling about what the impact of her life's work has been. But what's your perspective on the impact that you've seen specifically from the film, and feedback from those that have had an opportunity to screen the film?
Yeah, I'll go into that, and then I want to hear what you're hearing on the road. And thank you very much. Thank you, and Noelle, for showing the film at some Unity and spiritual Center for Spiritual Living venues. So I think the first impact's just on Barbara herself. She's all lit up, and she's reconnecting with old friends. Who wrote Conversation with God's books and wrote a biography of Barbara. We've been doing a series of Facebook Lives. And she did a Facebook Live with Reverend Michael Beckwith. So she's very excited. And I think, the part of the film is about her ability to keep picking herself up, dusting herself off, and moving forward. Yeah. And I want to read this review that I got from a film scholar, Dr. Roger Leslie, because I think this gets at it. He says, great documentaries begin with two ingredients: fascinating subject and solid suspenseful storytelling. American Visionary succeeds with both. And he says, while Barbara's vision make her a larger-than-life figure, her struggles and setbacks reveal an earthly vulnerability that stirs compassion and empathy. So I feel really good about that personally, on a personal level. I feel like I was able to, a lot of documentaries are takedown pieces, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to honor her, but also show her feet of clay. And I think she's fine with that. She's resonating with the theme of just say yes and continue on. So that makes me feel good.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
So tell me tell me what is the feedback you're getting from the screenings you're doing?
It's this understanding that here is a person that if you only read their bio, if you only read the jacket of the book of their bio, you'd be thinking about a superhero and all the positives, and that people can really identify with this. Made many setbacks through her life and having to pick herself up and move on. The second thing is the understanding of the legacy that she because in the movie Jack Canfield mentions, she's not much for organizing, but she's an amazing visionary and inspiring person. And her life's inspiring. And I'm glad that clip is in there because as Beth Meisner, who's one of the two executive producers, says at the end of the movie, she has built a legacy that is those of us that are now doing what they're doing. The Karen Everetts and the Bob and Noelles and thousands and thousands and thousands of others that are doing things in the world that frankly wouldn't have been done by them if they hadn't been inspired that their path
Yes.
crossed with Barbara. And that is clear in the movie as well. And that's the feedback that we're getting from individuals that are seeing the movie. Some folks didn't even know who Barbara Marx Hubbard is. Others have studied with her, and they really appreciate this invitation to live. They appreciate the invitation for them to live her legacy, which is them. And so it's been great fun to show it.
I'm glad you mentioned. Well, thank you so much, and I'm glad you mentioned Beth Meisner. Her husband Ivan and her stepped in just at the tail end to become executive producers and put up money to get the film marketed. And we have a distributor through Beyond Words. And so the next phase is kind of picking up where you and Noelle are right now, and getting the film out to hopefully hundreds of Unity churches and centers for spiritual living. So I appreciate the early buzz you guys are getting.
Fantastic.
So thank you.
You're welcome. It's our joy, indeed. So let's one final question I have for you is the very broad one, and that is, what do you see from your life's experience and reading and connections and networking and whatnot? What do you see the role of documentary filmmaking to be in advancing humanity's collective journey?
I love that question. I think the role is huge. It's big, not just for documentaries, but for fiction films as well. But my experiences with documentaries and news, and I think it's big partly because so many people think that the world is falling apart and things are getting worse and worse because they're watching the news, which gives a very biased picture of what's happening in the world. And this is one of the themes, as you know, in American Visionary. So documentaries themselves have become equated with sort of hit pieces, like takedown pieces. And I think there'll always be an important role for investigative documentaries, like a frontline documentary. But I have been sort of one of many voices saying to the independent documentary community, we need to stop making depressing films that nobody wants to see anymore. It's not that we don't take on the real issues of the day, but we need to start creating more solution-oriented documentaries that inspire and uplift people. And that's really hit a nerve. I'm now hearing like festival programmers talking that way. So that's exciting. And I think it goes back to like the mission of GATE, the Global Alliance for Transformational Entertainment, which is to create TV and news and media that uplifts and inspires. So, I mean, we really need that. It's sort of cliche to say, but it's so true. So in my work with documentary filmmakers, that's one of the things we try to figure out is how can we not only end the film with an inspiring example or call to action, but how can we keep viewers engaged in the beginning so that they're not just so, fed up they don't want to watch anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's I agree, and it's amazing. Noelle and I watch a lot of documentaries, and we really have seen this effort, whether it's about health or food or the environment or politics or the economic situation in this country and around the world. Those documentaries that end in a action or end in a forming a community or end with a set of tools for continued dialogue locally or as an individual or as a household to take specific action. We're seeing more and more of those, and we're really appreciative of that because different people will be lit up by different things, and whether it's the health of their children or whether it's their economic situation or whether it's the air that they're breathing. And so that's fantastic. And to me, the American Visionary ends on the point of asking that question of what is my role to take to advance humanity's journey. And everyone's answer is different. And as our friend Lynn Twist at Pachamama Alliance has said, there's no small job, there's no big job, there's just your job. And so when the movies and Barbara's life story helps people ask themselves that question and act on it, it's fantastic. Well, Karen, tell us how people can learn more about your work. What's the best way to get in contact with you if people would like to do that or to access the film? You also mentioned about the Facebook Live videos. So tell us how people can find more about your work and get in contact with you.
Yeah, I'll give my email and then I'll tell you the best thing to do. So my email is Karen, Karen, at new, doc, D-O-C, editing, editing.com. That's my business, New Doc Editing. I would suggest you go to the website AmericanVisionaryTheMovie.com.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get on the mailing list and find out more about upcoming screenings. And you can also buy the film there, or you can just go to BarbaraMarxHubbard.com and you can access the movie there. As I mentioned, the film will be distributed, or is being distributed, through Beyond Words. You can buy it there. But if you go to my website or Barbara's, 10% of the proceeds go to Barbara's Foundation for Conscious Evolution. Also, we just got some great news that I can't tell you the name, but there's a major distributor in the mind-body space that is picking up the film. So really excited about that. And if you join the mailing list, we'll keep you updated.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you for asking. I really appreciate your help getting the word out.
Wonderful. And we'll look forward to more specifics about that distributor and that information, because we do, through the Peace Pentagon Hub, we'll do it as a follow-on to this and share it with all of the readers and people that are involved at the Peace Pentagon Hub. So thanks to
everybody in the Peace Pentagon, because that's very much in line with Barbara's idea of the wheel of co-creation, right? The 12 sectors and the peace room that she had, which is in the film, that she had in mind all these years.
Very much aligned with people. They will see Barbara's picture and the Wheel of Co-Creation if they were to go to any of the websites related to Oracle Institute. So it's been a pleasure to be with you today, Karen, and to explore the communication and media sector. If you'd like to learn more about the Peace Pentagon Hub, please visit peacepentagon.net. And there you'll find important action events that are going on, critical news of the day that support our mission to protecting the truth, sharing the love, and following the light. And finally, if you're interested in volunteering for the Peace Pentagon Hub, or even in living full-time in a micro-community that's comprised of cultural creatives, we invite you to contact us through the Hub and to check out the Valley of Light community at theoracleinstitute.com. Again, Karen, thank you so much. It's been a delight. It always is a delight to spend time with you, and we look forward to hearing much more about your work in the future.
Oh, thank you, Bob. Much love to you and Noelle.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
You bet. Bye-bye.
All right.